Check, check, check. Uh, what's up, guys? It's been a couple weeks, I think. Oh yeah, a bunch of people jumping on. Good, good, good. Few people at least. Hopefully we can have a decent stream. I'm thinking I might be doing a little bit later in the day streams. I don't know what you guys think about that. Used to be doing earlier and earlier. Might push them back even later and later now. Let's see. Just a little bit better for my personal time to do them later in the day. No name. Let's go. I'm ready to earn some cash. All right, man. Good. Good, good, good. Hopefully we can look at the market here a little bit. I've been away for a little bit here, so it does look like things are just rallying quite nicely, aren't they? Except for the dollar. Do I speak Spanish? No. How long? Oh, we'll just probably... We'll see how well we can do here. At least half an hour, I think. I'm 5'6". Will working out make you look shorter? I don't think so. Unless you get like really, really thick. If you get huge, you might look a little bit shorter, but then you're huge, right? So, look at some of the pro bodybuilders, right? Gold up and down today. You're a beginner, but I'm going to get something here. Yeah, probably, man. We'll teach you a little bit here. Let me know if you got any questions going into it. I'll start off in like 2 minutes here. There is no surgery that costs $75 that increases height. Oh, 75K, yeah. I think you're talking about the knee thing, and that's a bad idea. Because then most people who do it complain about having knee pain for the rest of their life, and then they regret doing it. I think they like break your knees, and then try to rejoin them. Hey, from Malaysia. Pound looking good here, boys. How long does it take me to close a trade? Usually a couple hours. Alright, man. Alright, let's jump into it. There is my face. You haven't seen it in quite a while. Welcome from Ontario. Sweet. Hey, dude, I used to grow up there. Let's jump and look at this. Perfect, that's what I wanted to look at. Close out some of this stuff. Alright, sweet. Okay. Well, I love your content. I'm actually doing a lot of research, so hopefully I'll be able to be a head trader for a company soon. I also want to attempt FTMO. Awesome. Good stuff, Mango. What car do I drive? The F-Type V8. Cool. So, let's start out with the Pound JPY. Pound JPY, guys, we talked about this maybe a couple weeks ago here, a week ago, something like that. Haven't been on all that much. Grew up in Kingston, my man. That's part of Ontario where I grew up. But we were looking at this as a final kind of take profit on these longs here. We aren't actually in a long here, but if we were looking for longs, this is kind of what we're looking for. After we surpassed this sort of area, we kind of see no major levels. We see an obvious one here, but beyond that, we're still looking for this kind of weekly level to be retested, right? On the higher time frame, you can see obviously we swept these lows and then we started rallying back up. So we're looking for a very long term eventually to get back up to that untested base that we initially broke down from in the long term, right? So this was simply a smaller level on the 4 hour, 1 hour, whatever you want to call it here. 4 hour, I believe. Yeah. Cool. So a little bit of rejection there, and then we're just continuing that rally all the way to our original target, right? So this is simply, once again, a pullback. Where do we pull back to? Let's draw it out. Simply the demand zone there, and then we're rallying perfectly off that demand zone. I would be satisfied saying that that is the kiss that we were looking for. We bounced off here, and we did choose a direction for the day, and then the New York Open, that's would have been your entry on a nice Fibonacci pullback. If you do like the Fibonacci here, I'm starting to draw the Fibonacci more and more just because a lot of people kind of like it. Very easy to understand. So there's the rally, Fibonacci pullback to the 618, and then we rally back into the trend there. So going into tomorrow, you're from Kitchener, awesome, cool. Going into tomorrow, we got a couple hours left in the day, but there's nothing really going on. So we're gonna have to wait. Sorry there. We're gonna have to wait a few more hours into the Asia Open. Coming into the Asia Open, we're probably gonna look for some sort of setup, but most likely it's gonna range here, right? Kind of like usual. The New York Open, we're gonna be looking for some sort of sweep of the lows and then continuation in that trend. Right? That's what we would love to see because we are still looking for this final target. And I'll just scooch this guy over here. And if we are able to get that, where our take profit's going to be, obviously, the previous day's high, not previous day, previous week high, I suppose. Previous week's high, and then also way up here is going to be our final take profit, right? So if we can, I would love to get into an entry somewhere around there, stops below something, and then going all the way up to here. That's what we're going to be looking for tomorrow on Pound JPY. It's going to be a really, really great trade if something like this happens. We can even let loose a little bit and use a wire stop here because that is a 5R trade. And 5R is not my specialty. That's quite strong of a trade. We might want to drop that down a little bit more. Cool. Euro JPY, we'll look at that one. Yep. Euro JPY, probably a very, very similar bias. What's the current trend right now? Trend is very strong up. We're going to have no reason to break this trend currently. Let's kind of look to see where possible levels are. First of all, let's jump on a little bit higher time frame, dailies, just because it's a little bit choppy. And I want to see a possible reversal area. Right, this looks pretty good here. So what I'm seeing is an untested. Is it untested there? Oops. arguably untested. The actual supply zone is up here. So if we drew that right there, I'm going to draw it as a ray here because it's quite far. We want to see it further here. Boom. So arguably untested there. It did give it like one little trial kiss there on the support resistance flip there, but arguably untested. And then we have multiple tests along these highs. Right? Multiple tests. It gives me a lot of options for liquidity in that zone. So I would love to see price to kind of repeat to come back to that area. Let's kind of draw a target here. That's what we're going to be looking for. On the higher time frame, trend still going up. Not a huge reason to drop off here. Let's see a ray right here. This is an untested area right there too. But we did actually pass it and close well beyond it. And we're just simply coming back down to retest. Drawing back down on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, we see a demand zone here. This one has also not been touched. So anywhere in, I'm not completely sure, but anywhere in that zone, we'd want to be pumping off of. It does look like it might have pumped off right there, right? Similar to the pound JPY. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at this on the hourly just to get a better idea, because what I'm thinking I see right now, and I think I'm right, is a sweep. Do I see a sweep? No. We don't see a sweep of those highs. So this is actually telling me I'm a little bit bullish still here. If we saw a sweep of these highs on the 1 hour, I would have thought that we would continue and make a lower low on these 15 minutes. But I think there's a really good chance that this is actually our local low, and then we're going to continue back up. But it's not a super strong level to bounce off of. So we could actually come all the way back down here still. Right? So I'm still a little bit unsure. Hey buddy, how you doing? Come here. Oof. So we're just trying to, we know that this is going to go up, guys, right? We know it's going up. We're just trying to figure out at what is our optimal entry, because there's a few places that we could be entering. Sorry, what's that one? We could be entering down here too, right? We could be entering here, or we could have entered here. So we just don't know exactly right yet. So the best option is wait for the, again, wait for the London Open, the New York Open for tomorrow. And again, it's going to be a very, very similar pattern, I believe, to the pound JPY. It's going super, super flat here. I think, here's the thing. If you want to give this one a go, the thing is, if it breaks below this, it's going all the way down here. Pretty much guaranteed. Right? So, if anything, that this is the optimal time to buy. So I would say, if we're still resting right around here, come the London Open, I'm going to think that once again we're going to get a nice little sweep and then a rally. Come the London Open. But if it starts rallying down like it's been doing for the last half of the day, then we're going to look for something down here. But this is holding a decent support, right? Click the yield like button. Oh, there's Adam. If you heard this in old what the hell? You spell English so funny. Hunter, when identifying higher high, lower low, can you use pivot higher high, higher low to support? I had no idea what you're talking about. What is pivot H? What is pivot higher high, lower low? I don't, that might be an indicator or something. I have no idea what that is. To identify higher highs and higher lows, just look at where the candle's closed. This is a higher high than this because it closed above. So simple. This is a higher high than this. Closed above. So simple. Right? I'm in a buy on EJ thinking it's going up to 26,756. 26. 7.5, like the highs. Do you think it's going to the highs? Yeah. So targets for this long. If you are in a long or you do get into a long within the next day, here's your first take profit, untested. That's where I would move my stops forward after we hit that. Your second take profit is these highs, because this is the previous major reversal point, right? And your third take profit is the new highs there that we're actually targeting in the long run. Can retail trading be profitable? All forms of trading can be profitable as long as you have a slight edge in some manner. You can do whatever you want as long as you can prove that there is a edge in your system. Quest trade? I think Quest trade's more for stocks, is it not? I wouldn't use Quest trade for Forex. Your fees would be super high. I believe they're like $7 per order or something like that. It's stock pricing, which is more expensive, I believe. All right. Euro pound, maybe. Euro pound. What have we been talking about? We've been talking about how this is dumping down. It's taking forever to do it. Biases. We saw a rejection off of this, right? I won't zoom out too much because we do have a long-term bias, and you haven't been following along. Make sure you jump into those old streams, kind of check those out. But we'll jump into this in the following days and whatnot. And we'll keep an eye on this one. I really like the Euro Pound for some reason. It's just a nice pair to trade. I seem to always be right with it. So supply zone, reject off of it, coming back up to kind of retest that area, and then we're sweeping these highs 1, 2, 3. Right, 1, 2, 3. We have three different highs with 3 different stop losses right there that everyone sweeps out, and then we come back down. Nice and easy. Let's just draw a line to signify that that was a sweep of those levels, right? And then we're continuing back down in that trend, right? As for here, there's not a whole lot supporting it. We've already tested this zone right there, right, with that test, right? So this is a weak level now. So I would fully expect that once it gets down to here, which it should get down to here because there's nothing really supporting it here anymore. There's no strong levels there. Very, very weak. It's actually going to completely break through that. So the only levels of interest is essentially right there, which we're already looking for our demand touch right here. So this would be a really great place to sweep, right? Stop people out right beyond this level there. So we'll get like one of these guys, right? Sweep below and then test that really quick. That looks really good for a reversal for the bulls, because that's what we are testing there. I would love to see that. Okay. Yeah. And then eventually we're still targeting lower and then even lower as well. But there's no reason to look at that quite yet. So this is what I'm thinking. We're going to sweep that. And that should happen this week. I'm going to give it a little drawdown there. Should happen this week. Let's see. Yeah, cool. Entries. Your best entry bet would be this breaker box right here. Stop above here. Stop right about there. Right, this would be your, this is where I would place the trade probably. Assuming it does react well off of that. That looks like a decent trade. I like that one. I might even take this trade actually. After the Asia Open. I don't like leaving things overnight. So once Asia opens, I might check it out, see where the price is, and then look for a trade right around here. The reason why I would want to take a trade right here, is because this was the initial move that caused this sweep here. Does this make sense to you guys? So this was where we initially started in a range before we faked people out, and then we broke back down through. So this was a fake out to the upside for this small little range, and then we broke back down to that downside. So I'm thinking that that initial spot is still going to be the resistance point, and we never hit it once. This line, all it hit was an SR flip, not even really. Like, look, it just barely hit the SR flip. So it was very, very weak. So I think we'll go a little bit higher, and if we drop this even lower, you're going to see something else interesting here. There's the untested supply zone right there, and it lined up perfectly with that breaker box. Let's drop down even lower. The 1 minute, see what it looks like on the 1 minute. 1 minute, you know, you could argue that that was tested, but 1 minute is quite weak, right? That's my guess right here. Right there, that one right there. Where does Mamba FX get his money? Dude just bought a Rolls Royce. Signals make pretty good money. Oh my god. Scam. Yeah, I'm a scammer, dude. Okay, let me read some of these questions. I've been talking too much. Hunter, I need a mentor on how to analyze the chart. Well, I'm doing that right now for you, dude. Enjoy. There you go. Absolutely free. But if you do feel so inclined, you can just send me you can send me a couple cars, or maybe if you can't afford a car, you know, maybe a boat. Or if you can't afford a boat, then I don't know, you could send me like a new computer, or you can send me some McDonald's, or you can send me your wife. I don't know. Like the stream. Hey, thanks, man. The one that your money reactive. He's addicted to trading now. Does he have another trading video? Might be wise for me to do another one, eh? If he keeps posting trading videos, those ones get pretty good views. We've been using contradicting zones on the daily and the 15-minute identify dealing range. Do you think that's the ideal trading strategy? Contraction zones. Like ranging, you've been just drawing ranging boxes. Okay, so my opinion with range trading, I tend to not necessarily range trade. What I do is, it's kind of funny actually. Okay, so if you were to range trade, this is kind of how I would think is best to go about it. You look at the zone and you draw out the current levels. So like, let's say that you were looking at the zone right starting here, right? So you would draw the highs and lows of the zone right about there, right? And then what I would do is I would wait for sweeps outside that zone. So like this. So some sort of quick move behind and then coming back within. And you can drop the time frame to look at how it looks even lower too. Something like this, and then I would actually enter on that and take a long. Mind you, obviously this one didn't work because I believe this strategy only has like a 65% win rate. Something like that when I was testing it. This is how I would range trade. You know, put the stop there. Oops. And then target the ties of the range, take profit halfway. Anyways, that's how I would range trade. But what I like to do is kind of that same thing, but I don't sell the tops. So if it's an uptrend, I would only look for longs in that area. Kind of doing range trading, but to a trend, right? So if we're looking at this downtrend here, you know, you can see here's our range. Here's just an example. It's just a rough example. So this is our range here. And then we're seeing quick sweeps above, and then we're breaking back below. right around this area, you could enter a short, right? This is a bad example, but then you'd be targeting the lows of the range. So this is obviously a terrible example, but you can see, you know, you'd be able to target those lows, and then you'd hit them, and then maybe you'd take some profits a little bit further too, so you'd let a little bit run too. That's kind of how I would deal with it. GU, we'll look at GU. Look at GU and EU. They're very similar. What pairs do I trade mainly? Essentially these red ones and the green ones, and the blue one, I guess. US dollar and the red ones too. Not up here. Just these. Just a couple pairs. I don't like looking at too many. Hi, Hunter. You know how people load up their trades and still manage to have good risk-reward ratio? Can't really wrap my head around it because they're starting to loading up. They start loading it up when it's moving. Not sure exactly what you mean, but if you keep adding to the same position, that's not good risk-reward. I mean, that's... Oh, wait. Good risk management. Okay, so... Good risk-reward. If it's moving against them, then they're gonna have a better risk reward. My advice, man, make one trade. Don't keep adding to it ever. Don't ever add to a trade. It's very simple. Just take the trade once and leave it at that. Let's look at GU and then EU. This is a pair that I didn't really even want to look at. It's kind of boring. Nothing's going on. To me, it's kind of like, how do I trade this, right? Hopefully you guys can kind of see this. Like, what is there to trade? All it's doing is going up. So, there's two things I think. On the daily, if this closes back below the purple line, which I don't think it's going to do, because it's super late in the day, it's super unlikely for that to happen. Then we can look for shorts tomorrow. Other than that, it's basically tested everything that we want to be testing. So I'm actually not interested in trading this pair at all. I think it's going to keep going up, but unless we create some sort of good pattern in the future, which I can't really explain, you know, it would just look like something. Where's like the best level? Probably this. If it does that, then we can enter. Right? But it's not a pair I want to trade. EU. Very similar thing. We thought that there could have been a reversal coming down off of this level, off these highs, right? We were wrong. We were quite wrong on that one. It kept going up. So where's the next level of interest? Somewhat at it right now. Right? Untested supply. This is all tested. Maybe up here. Cool. Now we have a couple options of where it could go to. This could also just be sweeping once again, because it does look like it's making insignificant higher highs. Let's look at the 4 hour so I can kind of show you that. One, slightly higher, insignificant higher highs. This could easily dump down here once again, and then close the day below here. Close the day below here, I'd be super satisfied looking for a short. This looks quite likely, actually, that it come here. Yeah. I think it's quite possible. This looks like this massive rally here, very strong, but then it kind of got eaten up in just 2 candles. See that base being broken there? So it does kind of look like it could be coming back down. Drop the time frame. Let's see what it kind of looks like. It's a weird pattern that I'm not very familiar with. I'm kind of honest with you. It's just kind of like done a big pulse and then gone flat. So it could really go on anyway. But it could reverse here, but we are in an uptrend, so there's no reason to short until we see absolute strong confirmation that this is actually reversing. So do not short this. But we'll jump back into it tomorrow and see what it looks like. Cryptocurrency all over the place. What do you think of Bitcoin noobs? How delusional are they? I think crypto is when moon, sir. Oh god, hey Civil. I never see you in here. Would you take a 1-to-1 risk reward trade? Yeah, I'm actually getting more interested in doing low risk reward trades. I have the way I trade, it roughly shoots for about 3R. And the win rate isn't super high. So I'm looking to actually experiment with like a 1.5 risk reward or something. And just kind of, because the trades I take are basically based off of momentum shifts. Going back into a trend, right? So we look for essentially a trending market, and then we look for a pullback, and then we look at the low time frame for a strong momentum shift. And then we jump back into that trend on the higher time frame, right? Using that momentum rally, right? So if I'm shooting for long distance, then I have a lower hit rate, but I'm really wanting to have a really high hit rate to see how high I can get it. So it might be interesting to just play with a 1-1R and then shoot for like 70-80%, because those momentum shifts are incredibly powerful, and they generally always go in the right direction, at least for a little bit. When moon, yeah. So I'm an advocate of crypto. Let me just look at Bitcoin here. Just curious. See, this isn't super good for Bitcoin right now. There's an important level being swept right there. Let me just yeah, there's an important level being swept right there. That's not super good for Bitcoin. This could be an actual reversal point. A lot of people are actually expecting a lower price here, all the way back down here, to like 9,000s, 8,000s, whatever, and then looking for another entry. I think that's very likely here. I'm not a huge person for going all the way back down here to like 4K and lower. I don't think that's going to happen. I think now is the time to just keep throwing money in, and not caring about price anymore. My personal bias is once it hits 20K, I will not throw any more money in, because I expect price to reverse all the way back down to 30K after it hits 100K. That's just my guesses, but that's kind of what I'm going based off. So I set 20K as my maximum, that I won't add any more money in, but I'm just gonna keep throwing money in until then. That's my guess. What's up, Hunter? Entered a long on GU. Entered a long on GU at 9:30. It depends what time zone you're at, so I don't know what that means. If it's 9:30 my time, then yeah, then definitely you're not up 100 pips, because that's not 100 pips. So let's say you entered a long. Oops. Let me see what your trade was there. 9:30. Come on, man. 100 pips. Okay, 9:30 for you is like, oh, you're probably in London. That's what it is. Okay, so I just wonder why you entered. $900 pips. So my guess is you actually did something quite stupid and you got lucky. I'm unfortunate to say. I think you saw the market open bullishly, and then you waited for a slight pullback, and then you entered here. And I think that's really stupid. Let me just see why here. And I think, okay. First of all, if you're looking to do a breakout retest, you probably want to wait for a deeper pullback. Mind you, you know, you might have just gotten lucky here. But so often on the London Open, they do something like this and then they reverse the other direction. Very, very common. Just to fake people out like you. That's my guess, but anyways. Yeah, don't spam, man. I'll just mute you. Hey, love the vids. Thanks, Jet. The indicator for the time zone is called sessions. There you go. How do some people get 30% a week? My friend Sniper's entries. They don't, man. Nobody gets 30% a week. No, nobody gets 30% a week unless they're risking incredibly high and then they lose everything eventually. Okay, yeah, so somebody mentioned, oh yeah, what course will you review? I'm going to get another famous YouTuber's course. I'm actually going to start a series, guys, where I'm going to review other YouTubers' courses from my perspective in like how useful they are. I'm going to be trying to be as unbiased as possible in terms of I don't want their strategies just because they have a different strategy to me. I won't be bashing it that way. I'm going to be reviewing how valuable the content is, if it's actually something that I think is useful other than just generic free stuff or stuff that you would just learn from their content alone. And I won't be giving away any of the actual content for legal reasons. It'll just be simply a review of what I think of their course. Anyways, guys, I think that's a pretty good your first big successful trade that you made. How did it make you feel? Oh yeah, that's awesome. I do have a story for that. And I will make a video of it at one point. Alright guys, I'm going to call it there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm probably going to start doing a little bit later streams. I'm glad that actually about 200 people popped on here. I was a bit worried that a lot of people wouldn't be able to jump on because we're doing it later in the day. But I think we're going to do it just a couple hours later each day. I don't like starting things so like while trading the sessions and whatnot. I like to do it later in the day. It's a bit better. Divergence trading is pretty good, but you don't need it if you know how to read price action. It's essentially the same thing. It's momentum shifts, but drawn on a